Okay, we're back from closed session at 11:24. While in closed session, no decision or vote was taken. And we'll just go down the list here. Consider and take possible action regarding items discussed in closed session. Consider and take possible action concerning the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property as discussed. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, B, consider and take possible action, proposed termination of Wagner High School Band Director, Mr. Salinas.
I make a motion, sir. I move that the board propose the contract termination of Mark Lagault and authorize the superintendent to deliver the required statutory notice letter to him for this purpose.
Second, motion by Mr. Salinas, second by Mr. Macias. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Item D, consider and take possible action regarding personnel as discussed in closed session. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. LaFoyle, second, anybody?
Yes, second.
Second, Mr. Salinas. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Dr. Montoya, do you have an announcement, sir?
Wait, we still got discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Discussion items, item number 6. A, superintendent report. Dr. Montoya.
Very briefly, as I look around, I see some people are not blinking as much as they should at this hour, so I'm going to be very brief. We are looking, we went to a meeting in Austin about a month ago, and Texas Education Agency has a new program for school districts, and those programs are to look at developing in-district charter schools. In-district charter schools, because a lot of charter schools exist outside the district. So TEA is now saying that there's a process to look at in-district charter schools, and we're going to investigate that and research it, come back to the board in the near future to see if that's a feasible idea for this district. The other thing that they have is what they call Texas Innovation Schools. And what that means is that TEA is now allowing districts to, as you know, in Texas, school districts have a lot of requirements due to TEA. We have to report on a lot of different areas. And this new concept of Texas Innovation Schools allows districts to select areas that they don't want to, and I'll say it, don't want to be held accountable on by the state. And if the state approves it, they're not held accountable. So there's some ideas that are out there, a little bit brand new area in the state of Texas. And the bottom line, board members will kind of research. We'll get back to you on some ideas and see if any of that's feasible for this district. A couple of other items. Saturday, the JISD Thanksgiving Feast has always fed over 2,000 people. It's from 10 to 2 at the Wagner High School cafeteria. The public's invited. It's a very good thing for the community. And my last thing that I'm going to say, and then, because it's been a long day, is that, and I can say this because I think, the superintendent from this perspective, let's not close the door on a bond, because this is, as I said earlier, a district that's at least at 23,000 students, 3,000 staff members. It's growing approximately 3%, sometimes even more. There are needs out there for our teachers, our students, and our community. And one of the things I go to every month is a meeting with the mayors of the 7 communities that our school districts are located. And one of the things they're telling the school districts is we've got to have good school system. We've got to work together for the benefit of kids, because that's the kind of thing companies look at. When companies are going to move a large company to an area, Google, Valero, et cetera, Toyota, they look at a lot of factors, including the schools, Have they passed bond issues? Is the community supportive of the schools? Do you have good schools? Do you have good educators? They actually do those ratings. And if they find an area, that is some of the things that they use to establish where they move a large company with literally hundreds and even thousands of their employees. And so one of the things the mayors are very concerned is that we do have that in place. That's why and we'll talk in detail in the future on that. And I know that at this point, I'll turn it over to Mr. Fields, who will share a couple of things that are very important.
Yes, sir. In terms of the possible bond for 2016, we still need your submissions as a board for 2 people in your districts to serve on that bond advisory committee. Yes, sir. What we're going to do then on the 1st of December, Mr. LaFoyle, is have a bond advisory all call. We're going to ask Mr. Linscomb to even advertise it over the internet. And then when people come in on that day to be a part of the meeting, we'll determine what districts they're in and see if we can solicit some participation that way as well. We did do a comprehensive check to determine who would be our architect for the planning process, and LPA won out. Dr. Montoya already met with Lowell Tacker, who's representing that firm, and again, we'll meet on the 1st of December from 4:30 to 6:30 in the boardroom here. And we're going to make an all call for people to come who want to support it as well. And then we're going to invite those people who we already have as part of the board advisory team. Then once we determine, we'll come back to the board and see if we can actually go forward with a bond. In terms of the construction report, for the sake of brevity, I would say that you have the report, and I stand ready to answer any questions that you may have.
The new high school is on time and under budget. The favorite phrase, as people want to know, are you under the general budget? The answer is yes. Are you on time? Yes.
Any other questions, Pam? Mr. Macias, you said you wanted to.
Yeah, I'll pull the SAT and the secondary one about the teachers. We'll get it positioned a little better on time, I think, in the future, so we can have a more robust conversation.
Okay, thank you. D, update on board advisory committees. Mr. Salinas, you have nothing right now? Ms. Ms. Pashal, do you, well, you know. Sorry about that. It is late. Ms. Pashal.
My only question is, and you alluded to it earlier, I wanted to know when we're going to get some kind of update or status from Mr. Ashmore.
This was on the Internal Audit Committee, and Mr. Elizondo told me that we will have something by December as far as people that have submitted some information, right? Okay. Mr. Macias, anything?
In relation to board training and conferences?
Your board advisory, no?
No.
You haven't had anything? Mr. LaFoyle? Mr. Pashal? Nothing? No foundation? No foundation? Right. Right.
Jingle Bell Jamboree coming up next month also.
Okay. See, you did have something. Dr. Salinas. Good. Okay, he did. Item E, update on board training, conferences, events, and consider future agenda items requested by board members.
Yeah, I'll have 3 items that I'd like on a future agenda. One would be, of course, to rescind the name of the high school to be on the next regular board agenda, a reorganization of the board, and to discuss and take action on the Fowler Law Firm.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yes, I'm gonna second that with Mr. Macias. On the first one was the renaming of the school, and the second one was the reorganization of the board.
Okay. Mr. LaFoyle?
To have discussion
what I'm going to request is that we look into, like Mr., what's his name, Jeff Lynn said, you know, setting our criteria the way we, and I spoke with some friends of mine throughout the state, and what some of them do is, like when we do superintendents, we make a decision, then we got 21 days, you know, before, and I thought, well, before, you know,
It's
just that
finalized.
21-day. So, you know, we'll look at that, maybe make that a possibility as we go forward, you know, I mean, hey. You know, I'm talking about the naming, when we name something, you take 21 days, you know, after the board makes a decision, and then.
Well, and you do make a good point. I was going to wait on trying to revisit our whole policy, because I do believe we need to, and I'd like to form a citizen committee, but essentially maybe we can put that as a discussion item on proceeding with that process to see.
I'm not taking chances, but we have to take steps. Is there anything else?
Yes, there's a couple of items that I have asked and spoken with Dr. Montoya about that I've not yet gotten answers on. And one of those questions was, when we were given the EEO report by Ms. Hernandez, I asked what is being done with that information. And so too much went on tonight, but I still don't have an answer.
In other words, how it's being used, and who's using it and all that.
A regular
Okay,
report. There's no
okay,
point in having
yeah.
that report if it's not being utilized.
Ms. Bashan, and my apologies, I did respond. I sent an email response to Ms. Perez. I don't know if you. And in that response, what I was saying is that we're going to present all of that information at the leaders meeting to all our principals to make them aware of what the data says with respects to diversity in each of the campuses, and as it compares to the diversity population of the students. And that's going to be at the leaders meeting in December. Yes, ma'am.
All right, folks, I think that's it. We'll take a recess and be back. Nah, just kidding. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and a safe holiday season. Meeting is adjourned.